We are W8X, and we're introducing a new era of connected strength training. We have the ability to completely reinvent what strength training means. Being one compact device, we enable an infinite possibility of different resistance-based exercises, anywhere, anytime.
We're using an electric motor to create resistance instead of a stack of weights. So that means that with a device, the size of, a big shoebox of some sort, you can create 120, 150 pounds of resistance, and you can control how much you have.
I think for us the idea was, one of the biggest challenges was actually to find the right customer in the beginning. Especially for us as a hardware company, we can't just go out and even if we had 1,000 customers, we would not be able to deliver that. So the idea is that you find a customer group that A, you can learn a lot from, and B, that has something else. So for us, with these strength coaches, they A, teach us a lot, and B, they're also very influential.
You can make it so that the resistance varies in different ways. So imagine that the resistance increases the more you pull on it, then that ends up feeling like a resistance band, right? It's like you're pulling on a big piece of rubber, whereas there are other possibilities, such as being able to add more weight, more resistance, only as you're moving down. And that's something that's been proven by lots of sports science research to give you better results and more resistance or resilience against injury. First of all, we took a class called New Enterprises, which Bill Ouellette, the guy who runs the MTC, teaches. And that's where we really learned the importance of doing all of the primary market research before actually taking the time to engineer a device. Because if you're engineering the wrong thing, you're essentially wasting a lot of time. That was one big resource that we used. And then in terms of maker spaces and all that stuff, ProtoWorks here was super helpful. It's a small shop, but it's surprising how many useful tools are packed into it. Right? You have a laser cutter, you have a 3D printer, and that speeds up prototyping so much. Delta V throughout the summer gave us a lot of mentorship, a lot of advice, and it got to the point where every time that we talked to a mentor, they would give us all of these useful snippets of information that each one probably saved us months of actually figuring out that we were doing the wrong thing.
I mean, just looking at where the Martin Trust Center here, the Entrepreneurship Center, is located, it's right between kind of the main campus where all the engineers are and the Sloan School of Business. So kind of even geographically kind of merging these two together. On the one hand, people coming in that are really about and have the experience in building a business, finding a market need, and really understanding the competition and the landscape of the market. And on the other side, people that are just really passionate about building a product and have the skill set to actually execute it. And then bringing that together, I think that kind of forms a lot of diverse teams, which we've seen many of here during the summer. And that's, I think, a very unique environment.
I think that the integration of making and entrepreneurship is something that can really make things a whole lot better, because whenever you talk about entrepreneurship, you have a goal or something that you're trying to achieve. There's a product that you want to make for a particular reason, and being able to have the hands-on experience at making is something that definitely makes that a whole lot better. And going the other way around, if you are trying to sell a product for a particular customer or trying to find out what that is, being able to make it, being able to prototype is going to give you a more thorough understanding of what that needs to be and how it needs to improve. And not only that, but by being able to make your first prototypes yourself, you can just really quickly test them out. You can actually go to your customer, you can give him a prototype that you made, and you can see it in action. And that hands-on experience is what really lets you figure out how can you make this better, and how can you get essentially an actual product from what could be previously a project.